The Monetary Policy Committee is expected to keep the repo rate at 8.25%, and the prime lending rate will then remain 11.75%. The high inflation has led to the central bank raising interest rates as it tried to bring it under control. Inflation was 6% on average last year and has been above 5% since the beginning of this year. Economists expect consumer inflation to reach the midpoint of the target bracket in the second quarter of next year. The high borrowing costs have meant those with debt have seen their installments increasing, reducing households' disposable incomes. When the interest rate hiking cycle began in November of 2021, interest rates went up from 7% to 7.25%. For a home loan of R1 million payable over 20 years at prime lending rate, the bond repayment would have been approximately 7,900 rand at the time. With the hikes in interest rates since then, bond repayments would have increased to just over 10,800 rand currently.
We've definitely seen consumers feeling a lot of pressure. When you look at banking sector results for 2023, there was a very high increase in impairment or defaults by consumers. And that is the first indicator of consumers really feeling the pain of the high interest rates. So we are relieved that, the time for some relief is nearing.
It's expected that the Reserve Bank will keep the repo rate unchanged at current levels at this week's meeting.
We don't expect any change by the MPC on Thursday. Reason being that there hasn't been any significant change in the latest inflation numbers, i.e. we've seen inflation remaining sticky just above 5%. But what we will be looking out for will be the Reserve Bank's new inflation forecast. At the time of the May meeting, we saw an improvement in the CPI forecast, with CPI now expected to be around 4.5%, slightly earlier than was the case at the time of the March meeting. With the slightly stronger rand compared to its level at the time of the May meeting, we do expect a slight movement in the Reserve Bank's forecast.
Mateo says conditions will likely be more supportive of a monetary policy easing towards the end of the third quarter of this year. He says there is an expectation of an interest rate cut of 0.25% in September, followed by another cut in November. Flores Sefako Musi, SABC News, Johannesburg.